Vayse. 'Tis the season to be weird, fa la 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 la. Virgin birth and Santa's beard, la 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 la. Yeah, the Saturnalia tree is looking heretical. Now, where's Buckley with the festive snacks?
Heyo! Season's eatings. Look at these little babies. A massive box of Aldi vegan mince pies. Oh, and Hine, your Saturnalia tree is looking positively heretical.
You'll better believe it.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Did you send my letter off to Santa?
You want now?
My letter, paper, ink, the fat taskmaster in the North Pole possibly exploiting a loophole in international law involving the exploitation of mythical creatures and slave labour. Hine, I'm talking about the letter telling Santa my deepest wishes for Christmas Day. Ring any sleigh bells?
Yeah, well, about that, you see, don't get mad, but there may have been a teeny tiny mix-up.
There's no way you're saying what I think you're saying.
Well, I've been really busy lately, and you know that I can't read your handwriting, and I've got ADHD.
Oh, rain, dear.
Yeah, it was an easy mistake to make. Santa, Satan.
Oh, so much for peace and goodwill to all men for this year, then. Fucking hell.
Sorry, man. Look, I'm really sorry. Look, I can fix this.
You don't mean...
Yeah, I'll just summon Satan and get your letter right back, and then off to the North Pole. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll just take a little while.
Okay, well, there's no time like the present.
Okay, let me just grab some things. Candles, incense, cloak, pentagram, goat's blood.
Goat's blood? It's a bit of a cliche, isn't it? Scary old Satan with his pitchfork and his goat's blood.
Actually, that's for me. I just need something to wash down those mince pies.
And that's vegan, is it?
Look, do you want this letter back or not? It's Christmas, all right?
God damn ye merry gentlemen.
Okay, let's fucking go. Dark Father, who art below us, cursed be thy name. Thy evil come, foul deeds be done.
666 minutes later.
And thine is the torture, the suffering, and the sin, forever and ever. Fuck you.
Oh, hi guys, how you doing? It's been a minute, long time no see.
Hey, Satan, good to see you. But really, it's not been that long at all. We played Warhammer together on Saturday.
You calling me a fucking liar? Are you calling my character into question? Are you motherfucking judging me?
I don't think Buckley meant anything by...
I was just...
Oh, guys, relax. I'm just kidding. It's fine. I've been doing a lot of yoga, juicing, barefoot walking, and ketamine. And time just becomes really, flexible, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, look at that. Your Saturnalia tree is looking heretical.
Thanks, man. Anyway, sorry to bother you. I know you're really busy this time of year. It won't take 2 minutes, right? You know that letter that I sent through the portal on Friday?
Mm-hmm. Really funny letter. Asking me for world peace and goodwill. I'm telling you guys, tears of laughter.
Yeah. I'm going to need that back, please. Wrong letter, wrong person. Yeah, just a simple mix-up. Human error. You know how it is.
Oh, I know exactly how it is. Hine! You summon me here at my busiest time of year. You insult me to my face, and then you tell me the wonderful, warm, hysterically funny letter that Buckley wrote to me wasn't for me at all. The only handwritten letter I've received since Charles Manson died. How do you think that feels? Does anyone think about my feelings? Does anyone think of old Nick?
I mean, it was just. I mean, it was a simple.
Fine, I'm kidding. Come on. One little deific savior is born, and you guys lose your sense of humor. Don't worry about it. I've got the letter right here, you silly goose.
It's a bit singed, and is that the smell of sulphur?
Shut the fuck up.
Just a taste of what's to come for you boys.
Oh, Satan, you're so funny. Like, really, really funny. Really funny.
What do you mean I'm funny?
You know, you're funny. You know, the letter, the hellfire. It's funny. You're a funny guy.
What do you mean? The way I talk? What?
It's just, you know, it's just funny. You know, the way you go all mean and angry and then all friendly, back and forth and everything.
Funny how? I mean, what's funny about it?
No, Satan, you've got it all wrong.
Whoa, Buckley. Hine's a big boy. He knows what he said. What did you say? Funny how? What?
Just, you know, you're funny.
You mean? Oh, okay. Let me understand this. Cause maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a little fucked up. Maybe I'm funny how? I'm funny like a plague. I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean I'm funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
I don't know. You know, you got mean and scary. What?
No, I don't know. You said it. How do I know? You said I'm funny. What, funny like matricide? How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is funny about me? Tell me what's funny. Funny how? Like the emptiness inside your soul, Hine. Like the endless screaming guilt that eats you up when you lie awake at night. Like the self-doubt and paranoia that whisper constantly in the back of your mind when you're talking to someone you admire. Oh, I'm no good! I'm no good! Like the nagging, fathomless fear of your own infinite inadequacy. Always reminding you when you're dead and gone that you'll have been irrelevant, meaning that nothing to anyone, all the useless fucking things that made up your sad, sniveling, pointless little fucking life disappearing like ripples in a pond until no one remembers what you even fucking existed.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I guess something like that, yeah.
You motherfucker! I almost had him, you weeping little prick here. Buckley, he was shaking. I wonder about you sometimes, Hine. You may crack up under eternal damnation, huh?
Yeah, you almost had us there.
Yeah. Good one. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Here, Satan, do you want a mince pie?
Ooh, don't mind if I do. Mm-hmm. Got any brandy butter?
Actually, I don't think we. I
Just
don't think
get him some fucking brandy butter, man.
Oh, this is delicious. Aldi? You wouldn't believe what those guys do to get their low prizes. Well, let's just say you won't have to change your grocery shopping habits when you shuffle loose this mortal coil. Yummers! Thank you so much, fellas. You guys are the best. You know what? I might stick around here topside with you guys. My best friends in the world for the rest of the holiday season.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I was just about to ask if you wanted to.
You guys. You guys are the best. God bless us. Everyone.
Vayse is filmed before a live studio audience.
Vayse is a production of Peanut King Productions. Copyright 1993. All rights reserved.
Welcome to Vayse, a podcast about weird stuff. I'm Pete C. Hine, and joining me as always is my old friend and co-host. Is he a man or is he a Muppet? If he's a Muppet, then he's a very manly Muppet. Is he a Muppet or is he a man? If he's a man, that makes him a Muppet of a man. It's Mr. Stephen James Buckley.
Thank you. So, yeah, thanks for that intro. That was a bit different. It wasn't like a parody of anything. It was quite.
It was a direct
original.
rip-off, this one.
What of? Oh, I didn't get.
Yeah, well, I
reference.
think that song won an Oscar, didn't it? Or I think it was a song
What
from
song?
the. I think one of the Flight of the Conchords wrote it.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
From what film?
For Muppet movie.
Oh, the Muppet movie.
The one with Jason Segel.
Oh, a fairly recent Muppet movie.
Yeah.
Right, there we go. That's where the problem is. Yeah, okay. So, since we're going to be discussing a movie tonight, we thought it was appropriate that we brought in a previous guest and friend of the pod, Phil Ristaino, of the excellent Post Relevant podcast, to join in our good cheer. There's a lot to love about the Post Relevant podcast. It's chaotic, but it goes deep. It's hilarious, but it's marked by occasional moments of tenderness and poignancy, which makes Phil uniquely qualified to discuss tonight's film, because it's the equally chaotic, hilarious, and at times moving 1992 classic, The Muppet Christmas Carol. So, Phil, good to have you back.
Welcome back, Phil.
Thank you. It's great to be back, guys. Let's release the three-headed Muppet Kraken.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So,
I think this is the quickest we've ever had a guest back onto the show.
Oh,
because
nice.
This is like episode 55, and your last interview was episode 51, was it?
yeah.
3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
4 episodes
Yeah.
ago. We
Pretty
we
good.
needed more. We had to.
Yeah.
We couldn't resist.
Well, the check cleared, so I thought I'm good. I can come back on. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And
guys.
it's weird because for some reason, your voice is making me think of Satan, and I can't think why.
Why? Stephen!
So, Phil, it was you watched the film recently just for this podcast.
Yep.
You watched
Never
the
seen
Muppet
it
Christmas
before.
Carol.
Never seen it before.
How have you managed to avoid that for so many years? 'Cause it is a classic, isn't it?
Because he was busy watching Twin Peaks: The Return over and over
I'm
again.
old, and I think like at some point I kind of aged out of the Muppets.
Whoa.
You know, like I grew up watching the Muppets. Obviously, Sesame Street is a huge thing growing
Yeah.
up, and then the Muppet Show starts around 77 or something like that. It's like right around Star Wars time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the Muppet movies pretty soon after that, and those were huge phenomenons. And so That's probably the height of, between all that and Star Wars, that's sort of the height of my Muppetness. Maybe like Labyrinth and
Oh yeah.
what's the one with Dark Crystal? Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
height of my Muppetness. And then by the time this movie comes out, I'm in college or finishing up college, I think, because this is like 92.
Yeah.
And I think Jim Henson's dead by now.
Yeah.
Because it's dedicated to him. And so I think by then I'm on to trying to become an adult, and the Muppets had just gone into the rear view,
Yeah, I think there's some cultural thing as well, because I think that the Muppets Christmas Carol got a lot of its popularity from Britain. For some reason, it really connected. I guess because it's based on a Charles Dickens story.
Yeah.
But it seemed that when it was actually released, it didn't actually do that well at the cinema. But here in Britain, it became a VHS phenomenon. And that kind of relaunched the popularity. And then now I think in the age of the internet, I think it's kind of spreading more worldwide. But it really, in Britain, loads and loads of people say it doesn't feel like Christmas until I've watched Muppets Christmas Carol, or
Wow.
a bit like the Charlie Brown thing in
Right.
America.
Yeah.
They'll
Right.
say, "Oh, I saved the Muppets Christmas Carol to watch on Christmas Eve after I finished wrapping all my presents," or something. It's a real cultural mainstay of
wow.
the holiday.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's really effective. I mean, there's so much to like about this movie. I can understand why it would become so popular, even if it flew under the radar initially, because it's beautifully shot. Oh my God, what a beautiful looking movie. All the shots are so dynamic, and there's a lot of camera movement going on, and the lighting is incredible. The set design is amazing. Of course, the Muppet design is unbelievable. It's mind-blowing. I was saying to Steven, it's sort of Baroque in how detailed it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, incredible performances from some of the human. Yes, some of them. Some of the humans, but Michael
One of the
Caine's
humans.
performance. One of the humans.
yeah.
Basically, yeah.
I've not watched it for probably about 10 years, and I
really?
watched it I've not watched it for quite a while, I watched it on like a few nights ago, and the thing that really struck me watching this time was that the Gonzo Rizzo dynamic is very Hine and Buckley. It's like, so you've got a guy who's essentially trying to tell a spooky story, and then there's another guy popping up every so often with fourth wall breaking cultural
hadn't even thought of that.
references, who's always trying to find a way to find a new snack. He's always hungry.
Yeah.
And but their sort of relationship, the way that like one of them takes the serious role and one of them takes the silly role, and they kind of play on that. It was very similar, I thought, to our dynamic, not
I hadn't
necessarily
considered that.
in real life, but certainly our podcast personas.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So I'm going to do some gonzoing now. I'm going to try and tell a poignant story because I wanted to talk before we start talking about the Muppets Christmas Carol. Last year at Christmas, we did ghost stories. We had some friends of the podcast on who told their Christmas ghost stories, and we all told one, and we talked about how the Christmas ghost story became a phenomenon, and how a lot of that was based around the Christmas Carol, and it was a publishing phenomenon. So I'm not going to talk about the actual story in this, but I did want to talk about the Muppets, because in case there's anyone listening who doesn't know what Muppets are, which I think is really unlikely, but you never know. I wanted to just talk a bit about the history of the Muppets, because they were the creation of the genius that was Jim Henson. Who was born in 1936, which seems like a long time ago, but then when you think that if he was still alive, he'd be younger than my grandparents. So it's actually not that long ago. I mean, he wouldn't even be 90 yet. And he was born in Mississippi, and he was raised a Christian Scientist, which is going to have some bearing on this later on. But I just thought that was a weird detail that he was. I suppose there must have been quite a lot of that around in the sort of 30s and 40s and 50s in America. But he had an older brother who died in a car accident in his 20s. And as a kid, he was influenced by early TV puppet shows and ventriloquists. There was a lot of ventriloquists, that sort of variety act kind of thing that was on TV. And he went to university and studied studio arts at the University of Maryland. And when he was at high school, he joined the puppetry club. And then when he was at university, he joined the puppetry club again. I don't know, is are puppet clubs a thing in American universities? Where was he finding all these puppet clubs?
There should be.
But that's
Maybe
where
it
he
was
met his
like
wife.
a thing in the 60s. It might have been bigger in the 60s.
Yeah, it was
possibly,
different
yeah.
times, wasn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, there is something like the Muppets do have a very 60s, 70s vibe to them, don't
Yes.
they? Sort of like you can tell that they come from like a that sort of counterculture. Mm-hmm. You know, there's that kind of anarchic, but it's like it's well-meaning.
Yeah,
I feel
you're
like
good-hearted.
Yeah, the spirit of the Muppets is never mean, is it? It's like it's always like
That's
they're
what's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, they're chaotic and they're kind of anarchic and but they're also like kind and generous and
Yeah, and
good people.
yeah,
They're
and a
good
lot of them, yeah, good people. Yeah. A lot of them have that 60s look as well, don't they? There's a lot
Yeah.
of and they're weird colours and like quite sort of psychedelic looking,
Yeah.
which is interesting. And so he met his wife at the puppet club when he in the club.
Was she?
As
Was his
one
wife a
does.
Muppet? Do you think?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, was he a Muppet? This is part of the mystery because he had Muppet qualities to him.
he's going to all these Muppet clubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Muppet clubs, yeah.
Which no one else I know has ever been to.
Did you have anything in your notes about where they came up with the M? Like instead of puppet, they started
Marionette.
saying Muppet.
Yeah, marionette and puppet is what he said, although
interesting.
that's not known for sure, but that's what they think. He did claim that once. But yeah,
It's
it's like band names,
Jell-O
isn't it?
or something. You know what I mean? Like where it became more definitive of the thing than the actual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Frisbee
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, or
you know,
Hoover
like that
in,
kind of
in
thing.
England. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Google. Yeah.
Cool. Right, exactly.
Yeah. And so together with his wife Jane in 1950. So, well, this is another weird thing. By the age of 17, he was working for a TV channel manipulating marionettes, which again is a pretty unusual thing to do. Again, suggesting that he perhaps was more Muppet than man. In real life. But in 1955, with his wife, he created Sam and Friends, which was like a proto-Muppets, and included Kermit, who wasn't actually a frog at the time. But if you watch it, Kermit's character and puppet is pretty much fully formed. And that's when you start to see through the Muppets a bit like the Matrix, and you see that they're mainly just sock puppets.
Yeah.
When you see it like Sam and Friends are just sock puppets,
Yeah.
and it's crazy.
I refuse to believe that.
And it's always like, when Kermit does that sort of look.
Yeah,
you
that's
can
his
actually see
hand
like,
like pulling in.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can see the knuckles
yeah.
like in
Yeah,
his
I was
his head kind of
noticing-
collapses a bit, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It's like it's,
I was noticing like the knuckles in the back of Kermit's head
Yeah.
a lot during this movie.
I love
I was
that,
really
yeah.
seeing the hand inside of the frog.
Kermit's hand knuckles are one of my favorite things about
Yeah.
the Muppets. But yeah, so I mean, even then in the 50s, so this was probably before he'd smoked a lot of weed or taken a lot of LSD. They were already pretty like irreverent, anarchic, and he was really developing that style that would go through for the Muppets. But this is the weird bit, though. After Sam and Friends, which was basically a kind of like a kids show, the Muppets for the next few years had a bit of an identity crisis, and Kermit and Rolf in particular started appearing on late night talk shows like for adults, and they did that between 1961 to about 1969. They existed purely in that space of late night talk shows until 1969, when the Children's Television Workshop basically got Henson to produce a cast of Muppets for a kids show, which was Sesame Street. But then the weird thing was that after all that talk show exposure, Henson became really, really determined not to let the Muppets be typecast as a kids show. Mm-hmm. So he did this thing called, I've never seen this before, but you might have, Phil, Land of Gorch, which was on Saturday Night Live. And basically it was Muppets, but they were extremely adult. And then they talked about sex a lot and drugs.
I don't want to see this.
No.
I've seen a bit of that, but I don't think it really worked with the audiences, and they scrapped it after the first season, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
And so then he hit that midpoint, which was The Muppet Show. And there was 2 pilots done for The Muppet Show in 1974 and 1975, One was the Muppets Valentine's Show, which sounds all right. And then the second one was the Muppet Show, Sex and Violence, which was 1975, which was like a bit like, sounds a bit like Brass Eye Buckley, like a sort of a parody of sort of TV reporting about sex and violence. And then it kind of settled into, by about 1976, into the Muppet Show that we know today, which is a lot more vaudeville, like a lot more like a variety show. It's not quite for adults, it's not quite for kids, it's a real family variety show. And that was the sweet spot, kind of between Sesame Street and Land of Gorge. It was nominated for 21 Primetime Emmys and won 4. And I mean, remember the guests that they had on it? Mark Hamill, Prince. Sylvester Stallone was on there. There was like A-list.
Tony Soprano.
Everybody.
Yeah, everyone was on there.
Everybody, everyone would do that.
The Prince one is amazing.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube because
I've never seen that.
He performs Starfish and Coffee, which does sound like a kind of Muppety song. There's some there's a quality to it that sounds very Sesame Street. And then he performed it on the Muppet Show, so whether Prince knew or whether Prince was also partially Muppet.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was quite small and very flexible.
Quite small, had problems with his hips in later life. Like that, maybe he was
extremely talented, like all the Muppets.
Yeah, the Muppets often have beautiful voices, don't they? I noticed that about Muppet
yeah.
Christmas Carol. The humans can't sing as well as the Muppets.
They can't sing for shit. The humans can't sing for shit in that movie.
Michael Caine certainly can't.
No.
Michael Caine, he's sort of singing a bit.
Yeah.
He does a bit of that.
There's a charm to it, I guess.
Michael Caine is a hero in this movie. He knocks it out of the park the whole time.
He's brilliant.
He crushes it. He crushes it.
When he was acting in it, he had to walk on raised platforms because in order to get all of the Muppet performers underneath, they had to raise everything up and have these narrow walkways that Michael Caine could walk on because everyone that he was acting with was being controlled from below.
So it's like the Muppeteers are all in the trenches whilst their general Michael Caine sort of walks amongst them.
Yeah, they've got I've seen a behind the scenes thing recently, and they've got a little monitor down by the puppeteer too, and they're way low, and
that was actually
there was
an
something
innovation.
where somebody was sitting on a couch, and so they're below the couch, in the floor with a TV monitor, so they can see what they're doing. And I mean, the level of acting, of puppet acting, they revolutionized puppetry. They revolutionized it over and over again. As you can see with this movie, it's so. It's so high quality, the puppetry combined with all the other aspects of the film. It's just, it lives and breathes in this incredibly detailed way. It's such a full vision. You know what I mean? They just kept on pushing puppetry forward over and over again. They really are the most important.
There's not a minute
group.
They really kind of. I can't think of any other examples off the top of my head of something which, is such a cultural phenomenon that is also so wholesome, and that also has so many different facets to it. I mean, you get the Muppets in, when you talk about all the Jim Henson stuff and the Creature Shop and stuff like that. So there's all sorts of films, Star Wars, and then you get into Labyrinth and The Dark Crystal and stuff like that.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was a Henson one, yeah.
Although Henson hated that, didn't he? But it was so it's as if you had the pure Muppets in the middle, and then the tendrils of Muppetdom kind of spreading out into culture, and it's just so funny to think because they're Muppets, they're not
that's the thing, in the Muppets Christmas Carol, there's not a second where I don't believe that all those creatures are alive.
Yeah.
Kermit's as alive as Bob Cratchit is as Michael Caine is as Scrooge. And that's what's weird, because we were talking just a few weeks ago to Joshua Cutchin about, what do they call it, fictional incursions.
Yeah.
Where something from the other realm or the realm of the fiction becomes real and steps into your reality. But it feels like the Muppets are that. Certainly they have some sort of egregore about them. They have some sort of... The Muppets as an entity have this presence, which a lot of because on paper it shouldn't work, should it? If you said, oh, there's going to be, if you're in the 50s and you say, oh, look, there's going to be this cultural revolution of these puppets with funny felt coloured skin, and it's going to go on, they're going to be absolute top tier entertainment for the next 60 years.
Right.
No one would ever believe it because on paper it doesn't make sense. They're going to sing and they're going to dance and they're going to present TV shows. None of that makes sense, but for some reason it seems perfect.
They're so alive. There's such an aliveness to the puppetry. Like the classic head shaking that everyone does. They're always like shaking their heads at each other.
A little bit.
So everyone's kind of like acknowledging each other. And then there's the levels of chaos, as you mentioned before, of their you know what I mean? They're kind of they don't necessarily like step over each other's lines, but there's like this a whole community that lives and breathes inside of their performances. Even going as far back as Sesame Street, sometimes you'd see like little group vignettes that they create, and there'd be all this like crisscrossing motion and depth of field that they'd be playing with, and jokes, like off the cuff jokes, a lot of throwaway stuff, and it feels very improvisational, and I'm willing to bet that they are throwing in lines whenever they feel like it,
absolutely, definitely.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I read that when they yelled cut, during the Muppets Christmas Carol in particular, because that's the one I was researching, the Muppeteers continue in character. because they have to ease in and out of the character.
Method.
Except they become really foul-mouthed. So it's like as soon as they say cut, like they start swearing and everything. But it was 1979 that the first Muppet movie was released. So you mentioned that just before we started rolling, Phil. And then that was followed really soon afterwards in 1981 by the Great Muppet Caper.
Yeah.
And then the Muppets Take Manhattan in 1984, the same year as Ghostbusters. And in 1983, Fraggle Rock started. So by the 80s, the Muppets were everywhere. They were in the cinemas. They were on TV, Sesame Street, Muppet Show, Fraggle Rock.
Star Wars.
And then during the 80s, you had Labyrinth. Dark Crystal was 80s as well, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, they really were a cultural mainstay by that point.
I mean, Yoda.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Muppet.
Frank Oz.
Yeah. Yoda.
Was E.T.? No,
I
E.T.
don't
was
think
like
so.
a little girl, wasn't it, in a suit or something?
I don't know.
I think.
It doesn't feel Muppety, E.T.
No, it's not.
No.
So in 1989, while they were at the height of this success, riding on the success of these movies and taking over the culture, Disney stepped in and basically offered to buy the Muppets IP for $150 million. And then in May of 1990, while this negotiation was going on, Jim Henson suddenly died, just like all of a sudden. And his death came completely out of the blue. He was only 53. So, I mean, it's no age at all.
That's like 10 years older than me.
Yeah. And he
younger
died of
than
streptococcal pharyngitis, which is strep throat.
Right.
And it's a really common illness. I did some research on this, and it's the cause of between 15 and 40% of sore throats in children, and 5 to 15% of sore throats as adults. So it's just everywhere. I mean, we've all had it. And it's usually harmless, and it's super, super treatable. Antibiotics kill it off straight away. But in rarer cases, it has these complications which can become really, really serious. And they include mastoiditis, which my granddad had, actually, and it deafened him in one ear and knocked all his teeth out.
Wow, me.
Yeah, scarlet fever, which my uncle had. And then, interestingly, meningitis, which I had. So it just made me wonder if there's some sort of weird family susceptibility to complications of strep throat in my family. Or it could be just coincidence because it's one of the most common forms of contagion, bacterial contagion. But what happened to Jim Henson was that he got lesions in his lungs from it.
Wow.
And he started coughing up blood, but he carried on working because he was so determined to get this Disney deal sorted. Then he collapsed, got taken into hospital, and it had become pneumonia. And it's so treatable, the bacteria, that when they gave him the antibiotics, it started working and the infection was clear, but it had done so much damage to his lungs that he just ended up having organ failure. And if he'd have gone into hospital when he'd first started feeling symptoms, first started coughing up blood, the doctors thought he probably would have been all right, but instead he got this toxic shock, and that caused his organ failure.
I wish you'd not told us this now.
Yeah, it was sad.
Seriously,
really grim.
Yeah,
Like,
grim. But and Frank Oz, who pure Muppet man himself, said that it was the stress of dealing with this Disney deal that stressed him out.
Do you think the Tiny Tim storyline in this movie is like a little bit of a tribute to Henson?
It could be.
He's got little...
Poor Tiny Tim, who did not
it's
die.
Kermit's son.
yeah.
By the way, we're going to have to talk about why some of the kids are frogs and some of the kids are pigs.
Yeah. I mean, how else were they? I was thinking, how else were they going to do it? Like,
boys are frogs, girls are pigs.
Yeah.
See?
It's like you can't, because a hybrid would not look good.
No.
Yeah, that would be a horrific mutation. That would be an abomination against God. So,
And also, like, it implies sex as well. Whereas if the frog boys are frogs, then it could just be that the boys were spawned from Kermit. And
Like
the pigs were-
mitosis,
or they found him in the Cabbage Patch.
I mean,
Yeah.
we
For
don't
the
know how
pond.
Muppets reproduce.
No.
They might reproduce differently to, we
Well,
assume we have a very human-centric view of things, and we assume that Muppets reproduce in the same way that we do.
I
but
think they
evidence just
high-five.
not.
yeah.
And then
You get that?
multiply.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I derailed your
No. I
narrative,
finished
though.
I finished on the sad stuff now. So basically, you got to have that mournful quality to Christmas. You got to get that through, and so you can have the happiness. So it was Henson's son, Brian Henson, who directed the Muppets Christmas Carol, which was only the fourth Muppet movie. And for some reason, I assumed that they'd done loads of them, but Muppet Christmas Carol was only the fourth.
And wasn't it Brian Henson's first?
It was directorial debut. Yeah.
I mean, maybe the DP is really helping him out or maybe it's just him because this guy directs like a seasoned pro. Like this isn't a gorgeous movie with incredible camera movement and great lighting. Like every shot is dynamic. There's all these canted angle shots and lots of camera moves. And it's like, this is not a first time director kind of movie. This is like, he must have a whole super pro crew around him, like helping him, like
I think so.
achieve this level of filmmaking because it's so beautiful looking.
I mean, presumably they'll have like a Muppet crew, I guess, who do it. But also, he'd been working on the Muppet movies since he was a kid, So he'd been working the Muppet Show, the Muppet movies. He'd done parts, and he was a voice actor himself. He just couldn't do any of the. So he wasn't like, he didn't have the same voice as his dad. He couldn't do a Kermit or anything.
He couldn't do Kermit, could he?
No, but he'd done other voice work and that kind of thing. So he'd been around it all his life. I think it probably came naturally to him. But one thing, so I wanted to take it to the weird stuff before we nip into the Christmas stuff, because I looked a bit into what Christian Science or the Christian scientists believe. And I was completely like, go ahead, Phil.
Well, I mean, isn't there part of Christian Science that they don't believe in modern medicine?
They kind of believe that
like it's God's will.
That Jesus was a hypnotist who used mesmerism to heal people, and so you should be able to do the same for yourself. Right. It's very odd. It was Mary Baker Eddy, who like a few books I've read of Mitch Horowitz. He spends a lot of time talking about her because there's such a thin line between what the Christian Scientists believe and what the New Thought believe. Like the whole New Thought movement, together with a lot of spiritualism. So there's this whole thing about the dead and the ghosts, but she was ill a lot. Her first husband died 6 months after marrying her. And then she married this dentist guy who she didn't really get on with, and she kept being ill. So she got this mesmerist, Phineas Parkhurst Quimby, which is a great hypnotist name, to basically cure her with hypnotism. And so then she thought that was how, for some reason, she thought that was how Jesus operated.
Jesus did it.
Yeah. And so that was it, is that the idea behind Christian Science is that Jesus' healing work is natural and repeatable. Like it's a process.
Right. Do they have any proof for that at all?
I don't know.
Yeah, is there recorded events of person after person being healed by Jesus
I mean,
hypnotism.
that's probably why that it's not that big a deal, because it takes a lot of faith. Like that's like they're basically saying we can all do something, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very odd. But the weird thing, because there is this spiritual edge, obviously, because so Henson stopped being a Christian Scientist, I think, in his 20s, and he became much more of a seeker, and he became a lot more New Age. And he got really into the Seth material, and he said that the Seth material had influenced Dark Crystal and all those kind of more spiritual movies. Like Labyrinth has a lot of magic to it and that kind of thing. And the Seth material, again, it's very, very New Age. Do you know anything about it, Phil? Like I've never really come across it.
I've definitely come across it, but I'm blanking on exactly what I mean, I know it's channeled. I think it was from upstate New York, maybe.
Yeah, I think
it's a channel thing, isn't it? That's
it
where
is.
I
Yes,
heard of it.
yes, definitely. From maybe it's early though. It's early channeled stuff. It's either from the '60s or the '70s.
Yeah, and
it's a woman channeling Seth, I think.
Yeah, that's it. They channeling Seth, and what
Yeah.
Seth said was basically very, very similar to what Neville Goddard was saying. If you want to change your world, you must first change your thoughts and expectations and beliefs. You get what you concentrate upon. There is no other rule. That kind of thing. And basically, this woman, Jane Roberts, was dictated the words by that spirit entity, Seth, and her husband would write it down. So she'd say what Seth was saying, and she'd often sit there apparently with cigarettes and beer and wine and just sort of dictate all this stuff that her husband would write down. And there's like, if you look on Wikipedia or Amazon, there's tons of Seth material. So she must have been having a great time. Just sort of like, just think yourself. Think about all the great things you could be having, and it sounds absolutely amazing. But apparently, this had a really big impact on Jim Henson, and he did have that spiritual questing edge to him, which I think kind of comes across in the Muppets, and particularly in things like Dark Crystal and just some of the more serious stuff. Yeah.
Well, he's got like this adherence to goodness, which was what Stephen was kind of saying. Like, there's an inherent goodness to the Muppets that they're always focused on, no matter what. Like, even this movie goes dark, and stuff like the Black Crystal or whatever, like, they're not scared of darkness. You know, they'll go in there and because they know that's where humor comes from, and a lot of the juicy storytelling comes from there.
Yeah.
But there seemed to be an agenda to resolve their stories with like this inherent goodness, and and community, you know what I mean? Like the rallying of community is always big in the Muppets, and
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed again on this watch was just how trusting the Muppets are as a people. Like, because at the end of the film, Scrooge doesn't actually apologize or do anything. Like he basically he comes out of his mystical experience, and then he gets that lad to buy the turkey and gives him some money, and then he goes around to Bob Cratchit's house and he's all happy and stuff. But he's not actually proved to anyone. Now, if they were humans, I think they'd need a bit more proof.
Oh yeah,
that he changed his ways, but the way that the Muppets are, they're just like, oh, he's dancing, he's smiling,
right.
We'll believe him. They instantly trust. They just have that. They're so good natured that they just instantly trust him. And for all we know, he might have just been having a bit of a funny turn and gone back to his. You know, there's never been a Christmas
could have
Carol
been drinking,
2, has there? Yeah, he could have been drinking, and or he could have just thought he could have just given up on it. And like it's. I was impressed by the. Maybe a little bit troubled, I guess, by the kind of naivety of the Muppets, but that's why they're so sweet, you know. That's why, and that's what maybe humans are missing, is some of that.
Did you notice at the end that when Fred comes round, at the very end, his wife isn't there, and that leads to theories that he's kind of got the evil of Scrooge into him, and he's going to become. He's going
Fred.
Who's Fred? Who's Fred? I'm forgetting.
I love that you hate Fred. I knew you'd hate Fred.
Scrooge's nephew. Yeah. He's another human.
Yeah.
And he's like,
the one who does charades.
Okay.
Awful.
Yeah.
Him and his wife. And it's like they're just and you know, when they're on screen mocking Scrooge, I'm Team Scrooge at that point. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you being mean to this old man? Like, he's a sad old man. He's got no one in his life. He's probably went through some kind of horrific trauma as a youngster,
Yeah.
which made him hate Christmas or something, and made him nasty to people. Instead of trying to reach out to him or trying to empathise with him, or even just like ignore him and let him have his own way, and just like Fred barges into his house and he's like, I'll make you happy, Uncle. And he's like a terrible actor. And he's just all like, I
Fred's a
believe
bullshitter.
that Christmas, he's full of shit. He's just terrible. He's just like, and he's one of these characters that you're meant to like him.
Yeah.
Like they intend you to like it, but I'm not buying that. It's just he's and his wife is just as bad.
Yeah.
And they're both and for a little while there I did feel quite sorry for Scrooge just while they were mocking him, because he's the worst character in the film. They should have had a Muppet.
But I mean, I think he falls to the dark side at the end.
Well, is there a Fred in the original story?
Yeah. I mean,
There
that's
is.
one of the things that's interesting about the Muppets Christmas Carol is apparently it's the truest to the text of Dickens.
Wow.
Because a lot of it, what Gonzo says, is word for word out of the
Yeah, it's
book.
verbatim, isn't it?
Yeah.
What Gonzo said.
Yeah, exactly. Believe what Gonzo says. So why
And
do you
by
think...
the way, Fred's wife is... I've never seen an actress hired for her smile. Like, she is all teeth and smiles, you know what I mean? Like, whenever she's smiling on screen, I'm like, oh, that's what she's there to do, is to smile like that. Yeah, exactly.
There's something I just like. I'm not. There's something going on there with Fred. I think taking advantage of the kind-hearted goodness of the Muppets is what they're doing.
What do you think it is about the Muppets that's so kind of enduring and special to people? I mean, why have they had this success for like
Because
60,
they're
70
silly.
years? Do you think that's it,
They're
though? I mean,
so
they're
joyous.
Discordian.
They're
Yeah.
joyous.
Yes.
They're joyous, yeah.
It's so human. They're so human. Like, they've taken the coolest parts of humanity and they've wrapped it all up. And the characters are all so specific and so well designed. And simple, too, you know? Like, they're just, like, every character, like, Bunsen Honeydew's characteristic is he has no eyes.
Yeah, and he's
You know what I
like
mean?
a lovely round
He's got no
head.
eyes, but that expresses everything, you know? And every character has something like that, though you're just like, oh, I immediately understand who this character is, and every single character is like that. And all the little, like the rats and the mice and stuff are so adorable. You're just like, I want to hug them all. You know what I mean? Like, take them home and hug them for a while.
I think with some of them, like Bunsen Honeydew in particular, I was thinking about this about him. He's so well observed, and it's like they've looked at a person and done like a really quick sketch. You know, when you sometimes see like a sketch that really captures the essence of a person's like movement, not just how they look, but their sort of the way that they move and their kind of energy. And it's like Bunsen Honeydew is a good example of this. They've looked at a person and really, or an animal, and really, really boiled it down to just like the very pure essence in a way that can't be properly quantified. In terms of, you could not teach someone how to do that. It's just like whoever's designed that character has got this skill of like looking at a person and seeing their very deep essence and seeing what they are all about and condensing them down to just a couple of lines. And that's what a lot of the Muppets are, like either with an animal or a person.
It goes beyond standard archetypes, doesn't it? There's more to it than that.
Because every person is so specific. When you really look at people, right? Every person is a character, essentially. Yeah. And every person is very specific in the way that the Muppets are. Every character is important that they're specific and they've understood. It's like you could take any character from the Muppets and put them in a room and interview them for 2 hours and you'd get you feel like they have this entire narrative behind their reality that it feels everyone feels real. You know,
it's like I see it like puppetry is supposed to be, and it's kind of lost a little bit. It is a channeling of something. You know, I think there has to be a point, a bit like musicians or any artist, where you lose the feeling of acting or pretending or performing, and you become the thing that you are doing. And I think that having puppets brings things out, a bit like the idea of masks. You know,
On The Mask, I was thinking of the film The Mask. Yeah,
you can put on a mask and you can become something different, something you can let out a part of yourself that you might not without it. And it's interesting because the guy who plays Gonzo, the puppeteer, has been the same puppeteer for years and years. His name is Dave Goelz. I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I'm sorry, but he said this to the Guardian about his portrayal of Muppet, because of this Muppet being Gonzo. Because I see Gonzo as a little bit like Nick Cave, because he started out like very like sort of like paranoid and weird, and then like he became very weird, and then from the Muppets Christmas Carol, it was a bit like the Boatman's Call. He became very emotional and honest, and that's the Gonzo that carries on now, you know. And I think there was a movie about him finding his family and that sort of thing. But what Golas said was the Muppets are a big psychodrama where you feed your personality and fears through your characters. I usually search for a flaw of mine I can use for comedy, and then I try to find a way to make it lovable. For example, the clumsy traveling Matt character in Fraggle Rock came out wanting to preserve my dignity and not be shamed in front of people. And it was the same with Gonzo. When he appeared in the 1970s, he was really pathetic. He didn't have much confidence, and that came from me. I had suddenly found myself in show business, and I thought, how did I get here from the sofa? I have no idea how to do this. So I asked Jim Henson if I could build a new Gonzo with an eye mechanism that could allow him to look excited. And this was the second phase, with this zany, bombastic appreciation for life. Yeah. And then in the early 80s, I started therapy, and it really transformed me, and Gonzo too. I'd always seen myself as not having children, and then people would bring their kids to the set of Fraggle Rock, and I found myself tearing up. I ended up getting married and having 2 wonderful kids. I was unlocking my emotions. When the screenwriter of A Christmas Carol, Jerry Jewell, cast Gonzo as the wise Charles Dickens, that ushered in Gonzo's soulful phase.
Yeah, because Gonzo's so perfect in this role. It's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Gonzo is perfect in this role. But for some reason, he has so much gravity and honesty in his telling of the story. You know what I mean? And that's why you need Rizzo there to be his foil, to do all the little jokes that he has to deal with. But
Gonzo journalism in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Very
Gonzo
good.
storytelling.
What animal do you think Gonzo is, or do you think he's just a? Because I think some Muppets are obviously based on animals, but some of them are just like their own, like a Muppet in their own right. Like they've not got like a
pure
basis.
Muppet.
A pure Muppet. Yeah, they're
not
He's
hybrid.
got a beak.
He says,
is it a beak,
that,
though?
Yeah, he
It
says that
seems
he's a
like
weirdo.
it.
That's his species, is what he says.
A weirdo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he say that
definitely.
Muppet Babies a lot as well. So I don't know.
But he always was trying to have sex with chickens back in the day.
Yeah.
So that's why
He
I
loved
was
chickens.
thinking maybe he was
Part bird.
part bird.
Yeah, I think there's something avian in there, but.
Because in one of the Muppets in Space, doesn't he find his family and they're aliens or something? There's some weird lore to that he finds other ones of
There's
him.
definitely some hybrid. I mean, maybe there was some maybe it wasn't only humans that have been abducted by aliens.
Well, yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, we know that
Chickens as
Yoda.
well, and-
Yoda's an alien. Yeah, there's a lot of Muppet aliens, I think.
So you're thinking that Gonzo was dropped off on planet Earth and like as part of an experiment or something?
Or one of his parents.
Oh, he's a hybrid.
One of his parents was Earth. One of them was. I don't know. It's hard to say, really. I mean, they are. There's a lot of. I don't think there's been an awful lot of kind of biological research done into the
we
Muppet.
need a DNA analysis, don't we?
Yeah, there needs to be
Yeah.
some serious, and I just don't think it's been done. I think it's one of these things where, like, mainstream science just isn't interested.
I imagine
Yeah,
they're
you're
a
right.
protected species. I don't think you
Oh,
can.
definitely, yeah.
Vivisection
You can't
just wouldn't go down.
You know that the narrative is to squash all of the ET sightings and UFO
Yeah,
sightings,
yeah.
and so like if they do DNA tests on Gonzo and then it reveals he's hybrid, and then that's going to ruin the whole narrative. So
Yeah.
that's probably
There's all sorts. I mean,
yeah.
I think there's stuff going on. There's a whole Muppet conspiracy, kind of angle to be looked at. I think. Do you think like one of the things in the film is that it shows? I think one of the most beautiful things about the film is that it shows Muppets and humans living in perfect harmony together,
Like Sesame Street as well.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that that's possible? Do you guys think that's possible in real life?
I mean, it happened
you
on
want
Sesame
to talk
Street.
a little further about how would that happen exactly? You're
Well,
saying
they're just living in a town, aren't they, together? And some are humans, and no one's like, there's no boundaries. There's no like, oh, you're a Muppet. I'm not gonna, they're all living. There doesn't seem to be anything. The Muppets are the majority, but there doesn't seem to be anything like separated. There's no ghetto. There's nothing sort of separated. There's not like Chinatown or there's not like an area of the town with one race. It's like the two races are harmonious together, which I think is quite beautiful. And I just wonder, is that possible?
Has anyone ever told you how to get to Sesame Street? Because if you go down there, they're all living together.
Well, yeah,
really,
exactly.
Really well,
I think that's kind of what the Muppets do. They teach people to live in harmony. That's their great message, isn't it? Treat everyone with love.
Well, it's beautifully so the background acting or like just the general crowd work in this movie, which really the way they populate the movie with people and Muppets on all these levels, the constant commotion going on. It really brings all this life to the film. And so it's really nice to watch the people just easily interacting with all the Muppets. And then Muppets also, there's no racism in between the Muppets either, because you have like animal Muppets and people Muppets and creature Muppets. And they're all existing together.
It's a very harmonious, I'd like more of that. I mean, the way it currently works in our society is that humans and Muppets don't, Muppets tend to be quite separated, don't you? You don't see an awful lot of Muppets in the community now.
I bet Reform hate Muppets.
Oh,
Nigel
God,
Farage probably really despises
We're
them.
kind of saying that the Muppets are like the X-Men.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's like I just think like it would be nice if they were treated a bit more civilly by
Yeah.
by
There's
the
not a
rest
lot
of our
of
race, but
appreciation for.
No, but I do think that there are human Muppet hybrids out there. I do think that there are people who are partially Muppet. I mean, you've mentioned this before, Hine, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
There are people out there that are halfway, and that's fine. I don't think they should be ashamed.
We talked a bit about. Me and Buckley talked a bit about this once, and we recorded it and never did anything with it, about what drugs each of the Muppets would favour. Because Rolf is definitely heroin.
Rolf's on heroin?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's smacked up all the time.
Wow.
Whereas Kermit's like a lot more mellow. I think he just smokes a bit of weed.
Yeah, I imagine Kermit maybe psychedelics because he's got that kind of
mushrooms. Yeah, he's got the eyes.
70s kind of curiosity about him. That kind of a bit kind of Carl Sagan-y.
Yeah, whereas like Animal is speed. Yeah, for sure. Just like dirty street speed.
Raw energy.
Yeah, Miss Piggy, cocaine. She absolutely loves it.
Cocaine.
Cocaine, champagne,
Cocaine.
and sausages.
One of the things that I think we should talk about is the ghosts, because they're each quite unique, aren't they? You've got the incredibly creepy child ghost, like with some weird oil effect or something. It's something to
Like
do
a
with
poached egg, isn't she?
Yeah,
You know,
it's
poaching
something to
an
do with
egg,
like oil
yeah.
in water. I think they did it.
Yeah.
They're
And then you've
probably
got-
they're probably doing a water oil,
But-
a
but
water
it's
effect for that.
it's all
for the
practical
flowing
effects, isn't
robes.
it?
Yeah, I
And then
think
you've got the ghost of Christmas Present. The Come Here and Know Me Better man. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a huge Muppet, and then he's got a beautiful voice. He's got a really lovely voice, and then you've got the sort of death type future Muppet at the end. Now I've got a theory about that last Muppet.
Ooh, go ahead.
So we were watching it, me and my wife, the other night, and he's got quite an odd body type. If you look at the Muppet, he's sort of he's got a very long neck. He's got very short legs, and very long arms. Now, who
Torso
else?
just stops.
Who else has got short
Bird.
legs,
Oh, a giraffe.
long arms, and a long neck? I think it's E.T. I think he's got the E.T. body type. So although E.T. isn't a Muppet, I don't know. There's something in
He
there.
does
I
put out his finger as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He
Yeah,
does.
he's got the long, spindly fingers like E.T. So I don't know. This is a half-baked theory, so I'm not fully. But we'll have to just investigate. Maybe we can all do a bit of like research, bit of
Bit of
digging.
digging, yeah. We
See
need
if we can-
DNA. We need the DNA tests. I mean, we're never going to know for
Yeah.
sure unless we.
I
get...
think if it's ET, it's like an ET that's been to the hell realms and has sort of been transformed into a ghoul and is now, haunting the world as this
Yeah.
shadow
Or-
of what ET used to
Or
be.
it could just be that E.T. was acting as was just in a costume.
Or he could be having a goth phase.
He's
Yeah,
acting. is what
and
it
he
is.
was because I mean they had Kermit playing, Bob Cratchit, they had Gonzo playing Charles Dickens, and it was just E.T. uncredited. It was like an uncredited role,
Like a little cameo. Did it?
Yeah,
for...
but hidden. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just,
that's interesting. Don't forget the ghosts as well. The ghosts of Jacob and
Marley
Robert
and
Marley.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Incredible,
They're
incredible.
wonderful. Their song is the best.
Yeah.
And Robert Marley is obviously Bob Marley. They've got the.
I didn't get
that's
that
why.
joke.
That's
Robert
why
Marley.
he was the
Oh,
second
that's
Marley,
so
because obviously there's
funny.
only one Marley in the original.
What are those
Yeah.
metal boxes that are singing with them? Are
Yeah,
those
they're
boxes
amazing.
of chains?
Yeah, they're
It's
like,
just like the weights that go on the chains in the jail.
No,
Okay.
they're money boxes.
Oh, they're money boxes?
Because they talk about it in the book. Yeah. So because
I
they were
couldn't
so
figure that out.
stingy, you
What's
see,
the- it's like,
they're
what are they-
chained by their money.
I was like, is that where they keep the chains in those boxes? Like, what are the boxes doing
That would have
there
been neat.
suddenly?
I think-
a neat solution. Yeah.
I think the scene where Scrooge gets to his front door and just the Muppet's face just sticks out with the big chin.
That's
which
got to
goes-
be. That's got to be.
It's amazing.
That's got to be CGI. I looked at that, and that's got to, that one bit has got
Yeah.
to be CGI because it
Yeah.
morphs into the face and then morphs back. But
Is
yeah,
there any animation with the puppetry with the Ghost of Christmas Present? When I watch him move around, I mean, clearly it's a person in
It's a man,
a
isn't it,
full
in a
body
suit.
costume.
Hmm.
But then the way the mouth and the hair sort of moves
There's
in
definitely
a
a weird,
certain way, it
a
almost
weird
feels
flow,
like
isn't it? Yeah.
it almost
Yeah.
feels like it's slightly animated.
they did it with the turtles. They did it with like, almost like radio control operations. So there'd be
Yeah.
someone in the suit and there'd be someone else
Moving the
operating the,
mouth.
face. Yeah.
The hair
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Originally, I read that the film was going to be all Muppets, like the first three Muppets movies, instead of because when you watch the film is actually about the humans and the Muppets play the side characters. So it's about Scrooge, obviously, and his horrible nephew and his terrible wife, and but the Muppets are all like these side characters. But I read
Yeah.
originally they were going to have it so that the ghosts would be famous Muppets, and the Ghost of Christmas Present was going to be Miss Piggy. And that made me think because like Miss Piggy is like a very like Bakken sort of character, isn't she? Like very Dionysian. She's just like full of like
Bacon,
the sevens.
you mean?
Yeah.
Bakken.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I was thinking the same thing.
But like she's like full of she's all the seven deadly sins, isn't she? She's lust
Yeah.
and greed and avarice.
Yeah.
And that made me think because the Muppets Christmas Carol is weird for a Christmas story of that age because it's not very Christian. But then the Bakken character, the Dionysius, is obviously compared to Jesus a lot. And
When you say Bakken, do you mean Bakken
Bacchus.
Alien?
Yeah, Bakken Alien. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Bakken
Right,
Alien. That's
okay,
it. Is
yeah.
that
Yeah.
rather than bacon? Yeah, Bakken
Well, that's.
Alien.
I
yeah,
was
suppose.
wondering about the Ghost of Christmas Present. That his design feels like it's this European Father Christmas kind of design.
Yeah, for sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
Right? Is that? I mean, but he's red. He's got both of the first two ghosts are both redheads, and they both. I think they both talk about having had. The first ghost says that she's had 1,900 Christmases, and the second ghost says he's had like 1,800 Christmases or something like that, and so they give this impression that they've been alive since the time of Jesus. And so one of the thoughts that I was having was, well, the Ghost of Christmas Past being a redhead, is that some sort of Mary Magdalene reference somehow?
Interesting.
And then the Christmas Present ghost is also a redhead too, and he clearly seems like a more like a bacchanalian Father Christmas sort of pre-Christian kind of.
Yeah,
And
like
he's dressed in
pagan.
kind of robes, isn't he?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, are they trying to imply some sort of literal Jesus lineage inside of these ghosts, and that's why they've been around for so long, and why they have something to do with Christmas in the first place? I just found it fascinating that they're both redheads. And we all know that E.T. was a redhead too, so underneath the robes.
Yeah, because there's a bit where E.T. puts the wig on.
Where's the wig? That's right.
So actually, maybe that wasn't a wig. Maybe that was E.T.'s actual hair.
Yeah.
And the rest of the film, he was wearing a ball
Right.
cap.
That's right. Yeah, so I don't know. I just was wondering sort of about there's got to be a lot of research that's gone into this movie. The redheaded ghost really stuck out to me. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about that.
I think, like, certainly with the first one, it's very much that's kind of quite an archetypal image of, like, the very pale skin redheaded woman is like, especially in kind of Victorian times. That was like a classic sort of, because I think I may be completely wrong about this, but I think that in that sort of era, it was fashionable for women to be pale and to have red hair. And so, like, a lot of the ghosts from that era also had that kind of in there. But I could be completely wrong. I just
Banshees as well had that. They were redhead with white clothing. But the Bacchanalian Dionysian connection, because that is where a lot of people think that the idea of Jesus came from, wasn't it? Because Dionysus was the death and resurrection, and had like I've read about how Dionysus was born, and it's weird kind of, it's not quite a virgin birth, but he's half god, isn't he? And he kind of then comes out of someone's
twice
thigh.
born.
Twice born. Yeah,
He's
that's
like
it.
born, and the gods kill him, and then Zeus keeps him in his thigh. Which is a euphemism for the balls.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
it would make more sense. And then he impregnates a queen or something like that, and she gives birth. So Dionysus is a demigod.
Like Jesus.
Yes, and like Jesus and like Thor or whatever, Hercules, that sort of. And then in the early Christian development, there's this transitionary period between Dionysus and Jesus. So there are these like underground places where they would worship Jesus early on, like probably in like ancient Rome or ancient Greece. There would literally be these like sort of underground little rooms, and there'd be paintings of Jesus, and he kind of looked like Dionysus, and the whole connection between the Dionysus and the vine and the grapes, and then Jesus and his blood. So you kind of have this transition between the whole Dionysus thing where they would drink this spiked wine, that would make you hallucinate and see the gods underground. And then it turns into Jesus and his blood instead. So it's a literal, like a sidestep over from Dionysus over into Jesus. And you can kind of see these early periods of early Christianity where you're sort of seeing the depicted transition between Dionysus and Jesus.
Yeah, and Bacchus was occasionally shown as a divine child. Yes, and obviously that's one of the modes that Jesus is shown in. That's really interesting. I read this book called The Immortality Key about that transition, because did you read that?
Yeah, when I was doing all my Dionysus research, I read that book too, and a lot of great information. I can't remember his name.
It was a bit dry at points, but I liked basically, he had one really good point and wrote a whole book about it. But I did like it. But the whole thing is so true about the Christian, in particular, Catholic faith, losing all of its rapture and ecstasy, and that was because they removed the hallucinogenic elements from the wine, and it became just alcoholic. Whereas before, in the Dionysian that they didn't necessarily spike it with mushrooms or something, but I think they let a certain yeast grow on the grapes or vines or something. Was that?
Yeah, there's the
Ergot.
the
Was
the
it
ergot
ergot?
was
Yeah.
it was a mold that would grow on the wheat, and they would make beer out of it, and it would make you hallucinate, and that's where they derived LSD comes from the ergot.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, but there were even farms like in Italy where they were essentially practicing witchcraft, and they would create different kinds of hallucinogenic wines and stuff like that too. So with mushrooms and wormwood and all this different kinds of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think it depends on where you were, but that was essentially the tradition, is that they're drinking this hallucinogenic brew, and then they're going underground and meeting the gods or the goddesses underground, and that's that kind of triple goddess, moon goddess story of Persephone going underground, and they go underground to save her, and even Orpheus, the whole thing with Orpheus going into the underworld to save his fallen bride, and it's all like this whole tradition of drinking these hallucinogens and having this ecstatic experience that you kind of meet the goddess underground. And that's why they were called the mysteries, I think, is because they didn't want to reveal that that's where the mysteries were coming from, is that you would drink a hallucinogen and go into a temple and hallucinate and meet the gods,
And with that
Yeah.
triple goddess thing in the Christmas Carol, you've got the three ghosts, haven't you? One of which is a child, and one is sort of in the middle of life, and then one is the death spectre.
Yeah, like the three
coming-
phases of the moon.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk a bit about the music, because I think that's a huge part of the film. So
Beautiful.
the guy who wrote it, Paul Williams, actually wrote Rainbow Connection from the original Muppet movie, and so that song was the first dance at me and my wife's wedding. Not the Kermit version. So we found that the Carpenters did a cover of it as well. It was kind of like a B-side, and it never got properly released until quite recently.
Yeah, because Paul Williams used to write songs for the Carpenters as well. That's
He did. He
probably-
wrote the Rainy Days and Mondays, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he also wrote some stuff with Daft Punk fairly recently as well.
Yeah,
So,
and
like,
Bowie as well, because
So
Bowie has
I-
to come in there as
I
well.
think Paul.
He's still around too, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
But before this film, he'd sort of had like a dip in his career, because he had like a tremendous problem with substances, with like drugs and with like alcohol and cocaine, basically, I think. And he wasn't getting any work, and he was kind of blacklisted. And then they came to him for this. This was the first thing he did after getting sober. And so I think that kind of, to me, that sort of adds a poignancy to the music, because the music is very good. Like, the songs in it are heartfelt, and they're, I still know all the words.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And like, but like, even the song that got cut out of some cuts, unfairly
one?
so, When Love Is Gone, the sort of sad ballad that the woman
Yeah.
sings to Scrooge, it might have been cut out of the version you watched.
Most
I think
versions
so.
don't have it.
Yeah,
think
it
so.
was. It's a beautiful song. It's really good, and like, but there's a, you wonder if like some of the music in that was him exercising his demons. In terms of
Yeah.
expressing this. He obviously has some kind of darkness and sadness in him that enables him to write these songs, and you wonder how much of that came from from a similar place as the addiction issues that he had.
Yeah, I mean, a Christmas Carol is the ultimate redemption story, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I suppose that allowed him to play that out in real time.
Yeah,
What a comeback.
So I think it's quite beautiful, really, that the music that because since then he's been on the up. He was back after this film. He
Yeah.
didn't go back down there, and like, which is really great. So it's like he got his redemption story, and it's my personal theory that that's why the music is just that extra bit good. It's because this guy lived it. This guy lived the redemption story.
And there's real joy in some of that music.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely. And
there's
humor.
it's very, very uplifting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And some good harmonies too. Some good vocal harmonies going on. I love the moment where Kermit and Tiny Tim are walking down the street.
It's amazing.
And they're harmonized. They're doing like the contrapuntal song, singing, and the harmonies are really. The whole family harmonizes really well together. The pig frog family. They have real good vocal qualities. They could go on tour just with the just them.
Like the Von Trapp family. But...
Yeah, they're very Von Trapp. I agree. I agree. I'm also impressed by the score. I don't know if you know, Buckley, do you know anything about the score?
Not really. It's not got. I saw it. It's just a guy. I've forgotten his name. Sorry, guy. I'm sure you're
It was
very
very effective, though. I found
it is really good because it blends bits of. It's blending bits of Paul Williams' music with like Christmas songs, Christmas carols. Yeah, so there's quite a lot.
It's quite somber as well. Some of that. It's all very brass based, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's very Victorian.
Very, very. The Love Is Gone. So the song that is cut from, you can still watch it on VHS copies. There's one DVD copy, isn't there? And you can see it there's in the extras section on Disney Plus. You can get to watch the cut. Now, I saw this movie at the cinema in 1992, and apparently the theatrical version didn't have that song in. But that song is absolutely essential to the story arc of Scrooge.
Yeah,
because
it was so weird watching it without it. Because it's just like, he says to the ghost, "Don't make me go back there again." And then the ghost is like, "Okay." And it cuts to the next scene. It's really weird. Whereas in the original, in the one that I had on VHS as a kid, he says, "Don't make me go back there again." And then the ghost is like, "No, fuck you, Scrooge. I'm going to make you watch this beautiful woman leave you because you're such a cunt."
But
it's in that moment where he's complaining about money and how they can't get married.
With
With
the
the younger.
After that. It's straight after that.
That makes sense because it does sort of just dip out of that.
It does dip out.
It's really
quick.
jarring. But they cut it out because they thought, after test screenings, they thought that children would get bored of this song. And it's like, no, children need to learn. Maybe that's the reason why children have short attention spans now, is because they cut that out.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was it. Now you get straight from there to YouTube. There's no do not pass go, do not collect 200. But
they don't learn to not be a cunt either.
No, that's an important lesson to learn.
Yeah,
and so Love Is Gone, basically, and it's because that song was cut out.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, because when you watch the young Scrooge, he actually has some really admirable qualities. He's hardworking, he's self-sufficient, he's ambitious. These are all good qualities.
Well. He does look a lot like Michael Caine.
He looks right.
Yeah, he does. Right.
He was really well cast.
Yeah, but he's basically a decent guy. But the whole of that song is his heart growing cold. That's when the toxicity sets in. During that song. And
because she breaks his heart during the song.
Well, yeah, but he also chooses his sort of love and ambition for money over her, and that's when these good qualities become something more sinister. And then the most important bit is that when he is redeemed, he sits at the head of the table at Bob Cratchit's house, and they sing "The Love We Found," which is
the same melody, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a reprise of "The Love Is Gone,"
of that
and
song.
so he comes full circle, because in song he lost his heart, back when he was a kid, and then in song he found his heart again as a middle-aged Michael Caine.
How dare they?
So to cut that out undermines the entire story arc of Scrooge.
Undermines Paul Williams' redemption arc. Undermines his beautiful songwriting.
Undermines Michael Caine's effort at singing.
Yeah.
And it also undermines that there is a horse in their house also singing. During that part, as the camera pans back, there's all these people in the house, and there's
loads,
a horse
in
there.
There's everyone. It's like the entire cast of the films in there, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it spills out into the street, but inside of the house is a horse. I was like, the horse got through the door.
I really like how in that first song. No, it's not the first song. It's the song that introduces Scrooge. When a cold wind blows, it chills you to the bone. But there's nothing in nature that freezes your heart like years of being alone. It paints you with indifference like a lady paints with rouge. And the worst of the worst, the most hated and cursed, he's the one that they call Scrooge. I'm not going to recite the whole thing, but I could if asked.
Yeah.
But I like how all of the different little characters that pop up throughout that song are each they're all in the film at some point. Like you've got I don't know what his name is. He's like a weird old homeless man with like purple hair. And like
Lanigan, Mark Lanigan.
Is that his name?
He's a Grouch, right? That's a Grouch.
It's not Oscar the Grouch though, because Oscar
But
the
it's
Grouch is
a Grouch and Grouch.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's of the Grouch race.
Genus.
Yeah, it's the genus, yeah.
Yeah, but
Grouch genus.
He's great. Yeah. He's just like, again, he's just captured by that, and he's like, he's got a couple of lines, and then there's like the bits where the vegetables are singing. He's like,
Nice,
yeah.
And the melons are melons are like, we're being stolen.
Help! I'm being stolen.
We're being stolen.
It was the first movie, wasn't it, where Jim Henson didn't play Kermit. And there's a really nice story about Steve Whitmire, who was the new Kermit. And obviously he had massive shoes to fill as the guy who had to follow Jim Henson. Not only that, but in a film that was being directed by Jim Henson's son.
Yeah.
The pressure must have been absolutely killer.
He's great too.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think it is Kermit's performance of a lifetime. It's
great.
I mean,
awesome.
he's so moving in that movie, you know, and he doesn't get annoying like Fred. Oh no,
right.
He keeps it real.
But with Kermit, like I don't think it's other people doing his voice. I think Kermit inhabits humans.
Like like a channeled entity.
It is. It's a channeled.
Well, this is what this thing is about that I found because obviously Scrooge is visited in the night by three ghosts. Steve Whitmire had his own nocturnal visitation from the unquiet dead. He said, I was taking... What are you laughing at, Phil?
Just the way you were delivering that from the unquiet dead. It got very serious for a second there. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, I can't get it back.
So what happened?
Right, so... Okay.
We could have done with some of this mirth at the start when you were telling us all the really sad stories.
Yeah, we see this is the other side of it
people
because we'll find out.
Strep throat.
So he said, I was taking over from Jim as Kermit, which was a little scary, as you might imagine. It was important not only to match Kermit's character, but also his voice. Jim and I don't sound exactly alike. And the night before we pre-recorded the songs, I had a lot of trouble getting to sleep, thinking, I want this to be good. This means so much to everybody. Then I had a bizarre dream. I was in this building that was all white, and Jim was there. He comes over to me in a hurry to get somewhere quickly, and I said to him, look, I'm really nervous about taking over Kermit. And he looked at me, and Jim would do this thing where he would take one finger and put it on his bottom lip when he was thinking. He thought like this for a second and said, it'll pass. And he walked away. And it felt much more like a visit than a dream, and the feeling that gave me confidence for the whole film. On my best days, I have this sense that I'm channeling Jim in some way. We and Kermit share a dualistic view on life where the good stuff and the bad stuff equals itself out. Kermit looks for equanimity in things. He sees the best in people and sees the worst in people and nurtures them beyond that without criticizing them. And that's the way Jim was. And it's the way I've tried to operate in my own life as well.
Wow. Yeah, Kermit's a good leader.
Yeah.
You know, he's very fair. He's always trying to accommodate everybody.
He's intellectually
and whatever.
curious.
He's the calm in the center of the storm all the time. You know, he.
But it sounds to me from what Whitmire was saying that basically it was as if Jim Henson was channeling something like Buckley was saying for Kermit, and he kind of handed that over in this dream, in this visitation, so that Jim Whitmire could also channel that same aspect of Jim's personality to become
He was
Kermit.
anointed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He Obi-Wan'd him.
Yeah.
I think, with that in mind, like, I think there's a lot that the Muppets, not just in this film, but in general, there's a lot that the Muppets can teach us. I think that they are, obviously, on a literal level, Sesame Street, there was actually a lot that the Muppets did teach us. But you know, in terms of like their kind of kindness and their generosity, but also in terms of the way sort of their interactions with the actors and their kind of interactions with the people, like the experiences of the people that are handling the Muppets and stuff like that. It's like, it seems just like a very positive, wholesome, and kind of just, I don't want to say spiritual because I don't think it's that far, but just edging into that like experience for people involved, because it's like it's just something to do with, you know, like you were saying, like the mask and the personas and what you inhabit and letting certain aspects of yourself come out,
like the freedom
character. You
see, I think it is spiritual. I mean, this is what this Whitmire was saying, and Golas was saying, you know, is that these things are aspects of them that evolve with them. And you know, I mean, the basic thing is that if anyone has a bad word to say about the Muppets, I know that I'm not going to like that person. You know, it's an absolute litmus test for whether
They're
you're
an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is.
Well, because I mean, ultimately, the Muppets are lighthearted and fun, right? They're all about having a wonderful time, and there's this sense of community where they're always bringing each other back up. You know, if something goes wrong, there's 7 other Muppets who are going to go and shake their heads near you and laugh and joke and bring in you and put you back into a good mood. And they kind of show that you can explore all these sort of sophisticated and more adult themes, but ultimately underneath that is this childlike joy of living. You know, and that's where they connect with children as well. Like, that's why they connect with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in the same way, like a certain kind of, I was going to use a clown as an example, but that's not a great example. But what clowns were supposed to be, which is this way to reach, maybe someone like Charlie Chaplin or something like that, like where it hits on every level so that anybody of any ilk can resonate with the Muppets, and there's something in there for them. No matter what. You know?
The only thing that I can think of that's perhaps comparable to that is maybe The Simpsons.
Yeah,
for sure, definitely.
I've not watched it for decades, but like, you know, in its original, you know, that universality that has with it, a heart that is, you know, kind of, you know.
But how foibled everyone is too, though. Everyone's imperfect.
Yeah.
You know, they're peculiar. Everyone, like people are.
And also the characters almost take on like a life of their own in an almost like egregoric way. Like there was, I've forgotten who it was now. It was one of the first ladies. I don't know if it was Barbara Bush or Nancy Reagan. like she complained about Marge Simpson, and Marge Simpson wrote her a letter.
Oh, funny.
Like saying, I'm disappointed that you think this about my family, but actually
that's funny.
This and this. And then she wrote a letter back to Marge Simpson, like apologising for...
I think it was Barbara Bush.
Saying that Homer was like actually a bit of a hottie kind of thing, or something like that. Like it was, but just I know that's playful and probably just a propaganda exercise, but it's still just that similar kind of thing of like, it becomes this like universally loved thing where it almost takes on a life of its own in like a kind of way, you know?
And it becomes part. It doesn't. It's not just an aspect of culture, but it becomes an underlying part of the fabric of the culture. And I think that's what Muppets did, and I think that's what Simpsons did. And it's not uncommon for things to do that, because you have, you know, like the Beatles, Star Wars, you know, things that become their own pocket of culture itself. But to have it to be something that's for children, essentially, and something that's not made of people, made of something else.
It's made of fabric.
It's made of fabric, and that's how it's...
The fabric of the culture.
Fabric of space and time, exactly.
I just wanted to say, what I'm kind of getting, because we can see each other as we're talking, and I'm watching Buckley, and I'm seeing that there's something, he's moved. I can feel something about you, that something about the Muppets has had a really profound impact on you. and I almost see you moved by it in this way. Like it feels like a part of the fabric of your soul a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm getting this vibe from you about it. That
I think I'm quite childlike in a lot of ways, and I do at times when I'm feeling good have or excited about certain things have that kind of childlike joy. So yeah, it kind of resonates with me, really. I think
I'm really seeing
I
that.
watched a lot of it when I was a kid, and like I just feel like that I get that feeling from, I guess there's a few things from that era that have that same childlike enthusiasm that I get it from like even from like Bob Ross or like Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
And it's all a similar kind of thing, isn't it? It's that thing that's like a slightly hippie late 70s kind of thing, even though I wasn't alive then, but I would have seen the media.
Yeah,
kind of
you were
whatever,
born
but,
into
like,
the culture that was created from that.
Yeah, and it's that same like it's like counterculture, but with the edges taken off a little bit, and with like a lot of kindness in it. And there's something about that I just really love. I don't know why.
But I do think the Muppets can unlock that in people. It's like a shortcut to that.
They're
sort
like
of
a
feeling.
safe place, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of they won't abuse your trust. And you always feel like it feels like if you had a bad day and you would get to come home to like 17 Muppets that lived in your attic, and you could just hang out with them for a couple hours, and then you know what I mean? Like everything would be fine.
And that's why they were perfect for the Christmas Carol, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they bring, if anyone could redeem Scrooge, it was a bunch of Muppets.
And it's felt really good talking about them. Like it just feels like I hope that our listeners get this as well. Like when listening to this, they'll just feel great because
it's extremely uplifting, isn't it?
Talk about Muppets.
But one thing I want to talk about that isn't Muppet is Michael Caine in that movie.
Oh, thank God!
Because like Jesus Christ, the performance that man puts
killing
in,
it, dude. He's killing it.
Unbelievable.
It's the best acting he's ever done.
It is the best actor he's ever done.
He's so committed to that role. He never, he doesn't phone it in for a second. I believe everything. And, I also was having this, he kind of reminding me of Tom Baker a little bit, his look.
Oh, yeah.
No,
He has a slight Tom Baker-ish thing.
Curly hair.
And is he wearing a wig? What's going on with his hair in this movie?
Yeah,
is
you
he
only
balding
really
for
see-
real?
I think
Or
he
is
was
that a
probably
wig?
Balding for real, I think, wasn't he? But like,
I don't know.
you only see him with his hat on. Like,
No, you see his hat off, and he's got a real receding hairline.
Yeah, I mean, he was only 57 at the time.
Right, and I'm
Which
wondering, is that fake?
I don't know, that's what I wonder, whether they'd made him look older.
Yeah.
And I love his gold teeth as well.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, when he smiles, it's like.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Time
I love
for
it.
the money lenders. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where's that? Oh my God, that is the. December is harvest time for the moneylenders. Jesus, how
it's grim, but
cynical.
that's
What a cynical.
That's straight
What is
from
he?
the book.
He's a landlord. He's a money. What is Scrooge?
Yeah, I think he's like a
just a
money
money
lender.
guy?
I think he's like. I mean, I think he because it says that he charges folks a fortune for his dark and drafty houses. So I'm guessing some sort of landlord, money lender, probably just an all-round bastard.
He's a bastard.
Yeah,
He's just a bastard. He's
professional
a son of a-
bastard, son of
He's
a
a
bitch.
real.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
But Michael Caine, like,
Absolutely
I was so,
rips that.
I was just so, I wasn't expecting it. You know what I mean? Like there are moments where he gets so glassy eyed, where he's seeing the past, and you can feel all of his regret. He just, and then when he's overjoyed at the end, he's selling the hell out of all that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you feel him transform, and he brings so much immediate humanity to Scrooge that he's not a prick for very long. As soon as the ghost starts showing up, he really starts to subtly transform into like a real person with every ghost that visits him, and you feel his humanity like spilling out of him despite himself in this really lovely way.
He's quite a sympathetic Scrooge, isn't he?
He really is.
I think. Like, I mean, I think I kind of started to feel that when, obviously, because of the way that Fred behaved, but Fred really made me sympathise.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, like what Phil just said then, in terms of like he's almost bad Scrooge for as much time as he is good Scrooge.
Yeah.
Film,
But
like, there's no-
I think he becomes good Scrooge. I mean, like basically, as soon as the ghost of Christmas Present shows up,
Yeah.
he's good Scrooge. He has a little dance with him,
Even
and
before,
he
he's
does all that
not
great
a
stuff.
dick. Even the Christmas past, he's not a dick with her, really. He
Not too
starts
much,
to
no.
Show
No.
regret and fear, and
think- and
it
it's-
starts to creep out of him.
But you wonder, sort of, it took the Muppets, and back to how great the Muppets are. It took the Muppets to get Michael Caine's best performance. Like I've never
Yeah.
seen him act like that.
I've got that great quote from him, where he said that because
what
you know
does he
that like
say?
the people were the people that were considered. One of them was George Carlin, which would have completely. I mean, he couldn't have pulled off what Michael Caine pulled off.
No.
And Michael Caine said to Henson, the younger Henson, I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company. I will never wink. I will never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as if it is an utterly dramatic role and there are no puppets around me. And he does it.
Yeah.
Does it incredibly well. But, I was thinking, because Buckley earlier, you mentioned that maybe he'd been traumatized, Scrooge, right? But Fred, so Scrooge is unmarried, right?
Yeah.
Fred is his nephew, which means that his dad must have been either the sister or brother of Scrooge. So Scrooge probably had an arsehole sibling that was just like ruined every Christmas for him. And Fred's like a horrible reminder of that. So when he comes around, it's no wonder Scrooge doesn't want to see him.
We never see any evidence of any of Scrooge's family, even as a child. There's never. He's almost an orphan.
Doesn't his sister come to pick? Because someone comes to pick him up, or is that in the book? Someone comes to pick him up
remember now.
from school.
Not in the
I
movie.
zone out. I zone out when there's no Muppets on screen.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are these flesh tones? Don't mean anything to me. I need
You
blue.
felt.
I need red. I need green.
In the flashback where he's a child in school, I was noticing that Sam the Eagle is sounding an awful lot like Cookie Monster.
Ah.
Yeah, it's probably the
Voice
same
bleed.
voice.
It's
Yeah.
Frank Oz.
yeah,
it?
yeah, because
Yeah.
I think
he's trying to sound less American, isn't he? Because
Yeah.
he's saying something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that Twin Peaks Cookie Monster clip
Twin
that you
Peaks.
sent me,
Yeah, that's
SJB, was
brilliant.
awesome. Twin Peaks, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, man. So good. It just listening to Cookie Monster eat over the credits, the opening credits, is the greatest. It's so funny. So damn funny. But
it's so good.
just getting back to Michael Caine, he brought so much humanity to it, and he played it so real the whole time, and I was so thankful that he played it real. The entrance that they give him in the movie is incredible. All the shots and the completely silhouetted figure that he strikes throughout this as he's walking through the streets, and the flowing of his cloak and everything is like it's almost straight out of a comic book or something. It's really beautiful to
The way it's
look
lit
at.
and everything. Yeah.
Then he turns to the
Yeah.
camera at the end of the song, doesn't he? And,
His
and it's
reveal,
almost like the
yeah.
jump scare or the reveal is that it's
Yeah.
Michael Caine,
And
like
his first
this-
line is humbug. It's
Yeah.
so perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
what I was trying to say before is they don't waste any time in the movie. They're on to the next thing over and over again. So he has to make these subtle transitions throughout his spine, his narrative, and he has to make it all work, and he does it almost seems effortless. Though he sells it all, and I believe his transition over time, he's not given a lot of in-between periods to play with. You know what I mean? And he really he makes great choices the whole time, and I'm just really impressed that he's able to do that, and so realistically. There's such commitment to the reality of this world from everybody involved with this movie, from the score to the songwriting to the puppeteers to the script writing to the acting to the set building and everything else. Like, it's the camera work it's all fucking top notch. It's all taken as seriously as Citizen Kane. You know what I mean? And it's like, this movie, one of the reasons that I think it works so well is that the level of filmmaking involved in the whole thing is so super top notch that, and no wonder you get Michael Caine, because he's dope. You know what I mean? Like, he's a super pro. Like, if you want someone to if you want a solid guy to come in and carry your movie, he's the guy, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's that, that they don't pull any punches, they don't, they play it straight. I mean, it's funny, but it doesn't, it's not, it doesn't take itself seriously, but it doesn't consider itself a joke either.
Right.
Like you said at the beginning, it does go to those darker places, and there's parts of it that I still get a bit feel a bit of a chill when I watch it. Like bits when they're, when those pigs are dividing up his belongings.
Those pigs.
Yeah. Those pigs. They're they. Who do they think they are? Swine. I feel like it doesn't pull away from that darkness, and it doesn't try to. It doesn't try too much to sanitize the subject matter.
There's one
Old
bit.
Joe, who shows up at the end, near the end of the movie. Old Joe, the spider creature.
Yeah, that's
God,
weird.
yeah.
So dark and creepy. I
Yeah.
mean, what is that guy?
It reminds me of the video to Lullaby by The Cure.
It reminds me of that that thing on Spirited Away that's in the engine room with all the little black soot balls things. But it's and there's that woman with it's a Muppet, a female Muppet with with a sort of Cockney accent, and she's like, "Oh Joe, I want this," whatever. It's all
Grubby, that bit.
Yeah, it's quite a weird little scene that.
It's because it's sort of like, here's Scrooge's legacy is
it's nothing.
The dregs of society, stealing his shit essentially, and shitting on his. They're like, oh, this isn't very good.
Yeah,
he was
that's it. Like,
cheap, he was a cheap bastard. They're commenting on what a cheap bastard he is, and they're the underworld essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really a sad legacy that he's potentially leaving with his death if he doesn't change his ways.
What other adaptations of the Christmas Carol are good?
Scrooged.
Scrooged is good.
Scrooged is good.
Great.
Yeah.
Scrooged is there was one I watched when I was a kid that was like, I think it was just like Disney, like Donald Duck or something?
Ah, okay.
Scrooge McDuck?
Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, there was one that was the one that was the main one
He's
that I
named
watched.
after him.
Yeah, no,
I've seen an Albert Finney one that was quite good. I think it's just called Scrooge. Probably from the 70s, maybe.
Have you ever seen the Mr. Magoo one?
No.
They used to play that on reruns on like a UHF station in Massachusetts. It's Mr. Magoo as the Tiny Tim is singing some song about razzleberry dressing. It's not great. I mean, Mr. Magoo is annoying. Like, get rid of that guy. But that's the one that always stuck. I saw it so many times as a kid that it stuck in my head as an adaptation of Scrooge.
I don't remember a time that much before the Muppets Christmas Carol, because me and Buckley must have been 10 when that came out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it must have been around the time we met, and then we really kind of bonded over it.
When at the first year of high school, I remember that,
Yeah,
like waiting at the
we
bus
used to
stop singing those songs.
Sing the songs, didn't we? Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine. How cool were we?
What a life we led.
Singing songs from the Muppet Christmas Carol at a bus stop. Like that is pure. Like nothing has changed, has it? Really?
No.
Oh, that's so funny.
It is. Should we start to wrap things up now? I think we've. I think we've still got a couple of things to talk about in the wrap up anyway. So wrap things up. Wrap things up. Did you see what I did there?
Wrap things up.
It's a Christmas episode.
Christmas wrapping. Yeah.
Just before we do, I just wanted to say I was really noticing the levels of puppetry going on in this movie. You have so many different kinds of puppets. And, especially all the stuff with the rats cleaning up the office. All the little tricks they're doing with the little rat puppets. You know, he's on the stilts and they're on the seesaw, like flying through the air. And there was something else too that I can't remember they did. But just like there's so many like little puppetry tricks that they're pulling off throughout the whole movie. And even like the like I get a thrill out of seeing like Kermit skate whenever
when legs that guy.
Yeah, when I first saw Kermit riding a bike on the Muppet movie way back in the day, that was such a revelation to me of like, oh, they could do that? Wow, that's incredible. And so whenever I see Kermit with legs walking around, I get really psyched. But even there's a moment where Kermit is skating with the penguins, and then he skates back into the other characters, but there's no legs there. It's just a puppeteer, like moving his body in such a way. Like there's such a incredible control and understanding over movement and natural movement just among the hand puppets that it's such next level shit. Like it works on you in probably like this profound subconscious way that makes them feel very real, it's very realized.
Well, that shot of him walking, I think it's the one when he's got Tiny Tim on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And you see his full body walking. Apparently, it was 10 puppeteers it took to pull that off. Because it's so complicated. Because obviously you've got the expressions of the puppets, you've got their movements, but you've also got the walking, and it's just insane puppetry that. I mean, imagine 10 people working together. Like I don't see that in my average day at work. 10 people working in perfect harmony. You have to. It's a proper skill that.
Let me start again. I don't think it's inaccurate to say that the Muppets are one of the pinnacles of human
evolution
achievements. Not evolution, no achievement. I mean, I think like Phil said to me earlier this week that he suspects that the kind of human family tree kind of split
Sasquatch, Muppet, and Homo sapien.
Yeah.
When the Anunnaki made us, it was 3. They split us off. They mutated the the Cro-Magnon, and they turned it into Homo sapien, and then Sasquatch and Muppet, and all the 3 branched off.
The Muppets were the purest.
What are Muppets if not the Fae? With their mischief and their chaos, and they're little people.
Their rules.
They're weird rules. You can't trust them either. They don't.
Shapeshifters.
They're very. They have their own society. They have their own Muppet.
I think maybe at the very least, the Muppet example that they set is really good for kids because they're fun and playful, and they love to learn, and they celebrate community and cooperation. So they really invented like this whole society that you could model the world after, and it would be a fun, lovely place to be.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Recommendations. So we'll do this a bit differently because we'll all give our recommendations today. So I think recommend something for Christmas: a film, a book, some music, a podcast, a TV show.
Let me think.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
I should have just. I mean, really, I think Scrooged is. I think a very much an essential
strong choice.
Essential Christmas fodder. I think it's. Bill Murray's a great redemption arc kind of character, as we've seen in Groundhog Day. Scrooge is really the connective tissue between Groundhog Day and the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, he's a good Scrooge as well.
He's
a bit
very
wacky,
very 80s,
very different than Michael Caine.
Very 80s Scrooge, isn't it?
He's more like Michael Cocaine.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Michael Caine.
No, I watched last year. This is going a bit different, but I watched. I think only the first time, maybe the second time, Eyes Wide Shut, which is a Christmas movie. Yeah. And we're quite far from the Muppets Christmas Carol here, but I was amazed at how good that movie is.
It's brilliant. The scene
Absolutely
with
incredible.
with the ceremony, with the
Yeah.
music. Like the
It's
first time I
genuinely
saw
terrifying,
that, I
and-
was like, holy fuck. And that's a film with a lot of code in it. Like,
Yeah,
Oh, God.
you could do a whole several seasons on that,
Yeah.
Phil, for Christmas.
don't get me started. Yeah.
But it looks incredible. The way they shot it with the low light and every scene being so beautifully lit with twinkly lights. So all the light kind of comes from these twinkly inset lights rather than spotlights and that sort of thing. It just looks so wintry and cool. And I love the way, spoiler alert, I love the way that nothing ever really gets resolved. Yeah, I just love that. So that would be my Christmas recommendation if you're feeling a bit dark. Eyes Wide Shut.
That's fascinating. Someone turned me onto a website. It's called something like 33 Degrees of Eyes Wide Shut, and
Oh, I've
it's
heard of
dedicated to showing that there's the Masonic rites are all coded into the different scenes of Eyes Wide Shut. And,
Interesting.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm drawing a blank on a Christmas something or other, but something that I've been really enjoying is this YouTube series. It's either called Making the Beatles or Making of the Beatles, and it's a really in-depth exploration of the Beatles' history, and the YouTuber does this incredible job editing together and narrating different periods of the Beatles of their career, and uses tons of amazing footage and gets really in depth with what was going on with them. And the Beatles kind of feel like Christmas a little bit to me.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's a really, really great in-depth exploration of the Beatles' history. And it's one of the best ones I've ever seen, honestly. It's called like Making the Beatles or Making of the Beatles. It's on YouTube. I really recommend that.
Oh, very good.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
He
So what-
doesn't count.
What's next for you then, Phil? What are you up to at the moment? Have you got anything coming on? Are you promoting anything, or
Yes. Well, I'm actually just about to go to California to shoot part of a music video for an album that will hopefully be coming out next year with my friend Alan, who I write music with. We had a project called Agents of Venus, and we've been working on an EP for a little while now. And I've just set up part of a music video shoot. So this weekend I'll be heading off to California. So that's kind of exciting.
Wow.
But in terms of promoting stuff, my podcast is still heading strong. I just put out a new episode of the Post Relevant podcast. We're 8 episodes deep into decoding Twin Peaks: The Return. And we just put out the decode of episode 7 of Twin Peaks: The Return. And I'm happy to say that there's going to be some kind of Vaysian visit to the Post Relevant podcast coming soon. And we're going to be talking about Twin Peaks: The Return episode 8, which is going to be a 2-part extravaganza. My podcast mate Justin and I did a 4-hour decode and conversation about Twin Peaks: The Return episode 8, which is the ground zero, like myth-making episode of Twin Peaks. If you ever watched it, you'd understand what I'm talking about. So it's going to be split into 2 parts, and I'm excited to say that the boys from Vayse are going to be coming on the show, and we're going to be talking about Twin Peaks episode 8, so look out for that. All of those episodes are online if you go to postrelevant.com.
Excellent. And it is a lot of fun. I was listening to some Post Relevant today to get in the mood, to lift my spirits, because it's joyful. It reminds me of the Muppet Show. That's what it is. I was grasping for that when you were in episode
Jimbo.
51, when I was listing all those very British variety sort of early morning Saturday morning shows, but it's very Muppet Show, isn't it?
Yeah, it
That's
is.
cool.
It is. It's one of my favorite podcasts. I love it. I just love,
Thank you.
when I press play, I do not know what is going to happen. like it's just like there's going to be some absolutely bizarre tangents that I've like. It's like no other podcast, and it's like I really like it when a person creates art that is their personality in whatever that art is. That is just like an exact, and you know, some people do it with their music, and some people do it with their writing, whatever. And it's like you have captured the very essence of Phil Ristaino and made it into a podcast. And that is what it is. It's like, and I loved it before I got talking with you and before I met you. But now that we're friends now, and you know, I've talked with you quite a lot, and I like it even more that I know you, cool. Because it's like spending time with you. You know, it's like I just get to listen to. It's just like spending a bit of time in Phil world for 3 hours or whatever.
That's cool.
I do love the way it's so unpredictable. Like today when I was listening to it, I lost my place in an episode. And like I just couldn't find where I was because like I'd skip back and suddenly there was a song, someone was singing a song, and the next bit, you know, it was some bit, and then Buckley was in it, and I was like spinning around trying to find where I had to give up and just like say, I'm going to listen to it from the beginning.
I'm so sorry.
It's
so long too, you know, like those episodes get really long too.
Very technically
joyous.
good as well, though. From a production point of view, like the production on it's great. I
did notice that this morning.
I still have some production things to learn, but I loved stuff like Cheech and Chong and Monty Python, like the recorded stuff that you used to hear back in the day, and just the voice and recording radio, that format in general. It's so there's so much imagination that the listener can do as much work in listening as you can as the creator. And so it's such an open forum. You can go anywhere and do anything with it. And I really feel like one of the things that I want to remind people with podcasting is what an open forum this is for creativity, and what an incredible opportunity it is at no budget to create anything that you can think of, which I kind of feel like you guys are in favor of as well, you know.
Yeah,
that's
right. And I think you've influenced us a bit as well.
I think your approach is bleeding in to what
you appeared on episode 51, and the Vayse sitcom appeared on episode 52. So
right, there you go.
We took a couple of months to think.
I want to wake people up to, like, look at this incredible free forum that we have, this format that we can all use in any way that we wanted to. So if you're a frustrated creator and you're like, I always wanted to make my movie or my whatever, you can do that with a podcast, you know, and create stories, or you can create the certain kind of radio show that you always wanted to hear but that never existed, or you can do whatever the hell you want with it. You just have to remember that that's a possibility. And so I'm in touch with my muse in terms of all that, and that's where I'm always trying to surprise myself too. So I'm excited to hear Steven say, you never know what you're going to get, because that's exactly what I'm after. I want the listener to be like, oh, I'm curious to see what he's going to do this time.
I remember,
you know what I mean?
It really made me laugh like a few months ago. I've forgotten which episode it was now. Like a few days earlier, I'd seen a picture of you on Instagram dressed as a beekeeper, and then I pressed play on the episode and it starts with the sound of bees. Just like, oh, here we go. Like, what is going on? He's up to something, but I don't know what it is, but it's something to do with bees. And then you kept referencing bees throughout the episode. And then there was the one with the owl was quite haunting. Like, I was on quite a long train journey, and I was sort of in I wasn't asleep, but I was in that hypnagogic kind of state where everything was, and I love listening to things when I'm in that state, and everything was kind of weird, and then you were telling the story about the owl, and it was all dreamy, and like, it just really got to me. It was like, it was really good.
Well, you know, like the last time I was on the show, I was talking about some magical experiences that I had in the past, and episode 32, which is the decode of Twin Peaks episode 6, is this another magical initiation that I've just gone through in the past couple months, and it's all in the episode for posterity, for people to kind of live through it with me. And
it's
so
very interesting.
I've been through something the past couple of months. I've gone through something extreme. Like, it was just another one of those moments in my life where I was like, oh, things are changing now, and I'm going through the crucible. You know what I mean? And I got it all on tape, so I'm excited to hear that it works on the listener in that way as well. I'm hoping that it's almost like a magical initiation for the listener too. You know?
Yeah, it was almost like a little bit Philip K. Dick-esque in a way. Just that sort of flavour, and but sort of almost filtered through the imagery of Phil Ristaino world.
Yeah.
And the Twin Peaks imagery and stuff like that.
Two Phils.
Yeah. So
thank you.
So and that's where you can find Phil, and that's what he's doing. And if you want to find more Vayse, you can find us on Instagram at Vayse, and then Vayse spelled backwards. That's at VAYS.
Do it again.
I'm not stopping.
no, come on.
I'm pushing through. You can find us on Blue Sky, and on Blue Sky, I can't remember our handle on that because they're so long. You can find us on www.vayse.co.uk, where you can find all our episodes. We're available on all the major podcasting platforms, but it's only on www.vayse.co.uk that you can get the full show notes, which for this episode is probably just going to be a link to the Muppets Christmas Carol and a link to Post Relevant. And then if you want to email us, you've got any suggestions, or you want to tell us about your experiences or to talk about ours, you can get us at vayse.info@gmail.com. I'm a little bit behind on correspondence at the moment, but I do try to reply to everyone. There's a few people who've been waiting a few weeks. I will get back to you soon. Bandcamp is where you can find our soundtrack, Volume 1, 2 of Vayse, and that's by Buckley here under the name Polypores, and also Songs in the Key of Vayse, which we did at the beginning of this year to help a friend who'd lost their house in the LA fires. And finally, if you want to throw us some cash or you want to support the podcast, you can do so by giving us money on Ko-Fi. And if you give us a regular donation, you can join our Discord, which Phil's on. I was just thinking then, Phil is around there, but there's loads of interesting people. There's a few of our guests who've been there, It's where it's at. It's where it's at.
Yeah. I wish I was a local so I could come and hang out with when you guys do meetups too.
Oh yeah, we've had loads of fun. Recently we did a quiz at the last one, which was apparently fiendishly difficult. I could see people's eyes kind of glazing over as I tortured them with impossible questions. But it was good. It's good fun. There's all the people in the Discord. I just love seeing what they're up to, and just seeing their exploits, and it's just so much fun.
So before we all go, I have a final question to bring to the table.
Okay.
Which Muppet do we each relate to the most? Which Muppet? Who is your Muppet? Which Muppet represents you?
See, I've been thinking. I was thinking along these lines, and I think it has to be Gonzo for me. I relate to. I can't think of any other. That is as, because obviously we all contain multitudes, but I think Gonzo is many of my multitudes in his various forms. The bit when he was talking, that guy who played him, what's his name, Golas, was talking about how they mechanized his eyes and suddenly he became crazy. Yeah, I felt that before. I felt that feeling before. Yeah, for sure. How about you?
Do you want me to go next?
Either of you.
Well, I struggled with this, and I was like, which one am I? I was like, I'd love to be Kermit, because I do have that curiosity about me, and I do have quite spindly arms, but I'm not. I'm a bit too much of a difficult person. Like, Kermit's a really nice guy, and I'm quite difficult sometimes. So I thought, right, okay, I need to bring something to the table. So what I did was, I asked ChatGPT, based on all of our interactions over the past 6 months since I've been using ChatGPT to help me out with things, like, how would you describe my personality? And ChatGPT described my personality in detail, but missing out a lot of things, because obviously I don't have any humor with ChatGPT, because you don't tell jokes, you don't try and make ChatGPT laugh. So ChatGPT basically thinks that I'm quite miserable or like just quite like serious, a very serious person. So I then asked ChatGPT, which Muppet am I? And this is what ChatGPT said.
Okay.
If I map your traits onto Muppets, not vibes, but actual behavioural patterns, one stands out pretty quickly. You're closest to Sam the Eagle.
Oh.
And I don't mean the stiff
interesting.
caricature version. I mean the deeper traits he's played for laughs. Serious-minded even when surrounded by chaos. You tend to approach things with intention and depth, while the world around you feels slapdash or unserious. High standards and visibly annoyed when others don't meet them. Sam gets exasperated because he cares, the same as you do, when people are sloppy, evasive or manipulative. Tries to stay composed but has an undercurrent of intense emotion.
Yep.
Yeah, like ethical, principled and a bit sceptical. He's the moral backbone of the Muppets, sometimes rigid, sometimes right, sometimes hilariously out of place, but always acting from conviction. And finally, this one hurt a little bit. Accidentally funny because of sincerity.
Yeah, it's got you.
You're not
It's got
trying
you.
to
You've
be a
been roasted.
comedian, but your directness and intensity would absolutely be played as deadpan humour in the Muppet world. So, yeah, I think it's fair. I think, like you said, we all contain Muppet multitudes, but I think I think I'm somewhere between Sam the Eagle and Rizzo the Rat.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Because
Yeah,
I do have the Rizzo always eating and like making shit jokes to distract Hine. But the Sam the Eagle thing, yeah, there's a bit of I can see that now. But I must argue, I must point out though that ChatGPT doesn't see my joyful side. It only sees me coming to it with problems. So
Which is important to Muppets, is the joy, isn't it?
Yeah. But anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
I've talked too long now. But
And it's not real either, so don't
Well, no.
take too much advice from GPT if you can help it. So.
I'd rather take advice from a Muppet.
That's right. They're real.
They're real.
Though.
Yeah.
Well, they're actually real flesh and not flesh and blood, but felt.
I would say
Felt
some
and
of
blood.
them might be felt and blood. Yeah.
Felt and arm.
Felt and wire.
The real felt and arm.
Yeah. Felt and finger.
Felt and finger. There you go. Oh, that sounds dirty though.
It sounds
Yeah.
like a horrible thing.
That
Like I
sounds
gave him
dirty.
the Felton finger.
Yeah, I gave
Or
him
like
the
a-
old felt and finger.
Or like a pub, like a.
yeah.
I went down to the Felton finger.
The felt and finger. Yeah.
So Phil,
And I got some mince pie.
which Muppet are you, Phil?
All right, I'm gonna say it's hard. You put me on the spot. It's really hard. But Yoda am I? In some ways, and then I have a little Salacious Crumb in me because he's like, and I have a little bit of that in there, and then I feel like I got some Cookie Monster / animal in me because I mean I'm a little more composed as an adult, but
Yeah.
there's definitely that part of me that just wants to run wild.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somewhere between Yoda, Salacious Crumb, Cookie Monster, and Animal, I'm gonna put myself.
like that.
Good-
So you have like the animal side, and then the sort of like wise sage side too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, you've got
Yeah.
a good menagerie of Muppets. There.
Yeah.
I mean, between us,
We got it
excellent.
all. We got
Like
it
we've
all.
got but Hein, you were only one. I feel a bit disappointed that
Well,
you.
yeah, but I did suggest the idea that we contain multitudes.
Yeah.
He
No,
did
just-
suggest that.
I
Yeah,
feel sad
so-
for you that you've only found one.
Well,
part of
you
your
know,
Muppet.
who knows which Muppet I'll be tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I think of one, I'll ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Give
You
me
know,
one.
if you're dreaming,
Terrible.
you're supposed to look in the mirror and see what Muppet is staring back at you.
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Right.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
how
I'll
it
try and do
works.
that tonight.
If
Yeah.
you look in a mirror in a dream, you see somebody else, and so I'm guessing you'll get a different Muppet every time.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, I think that you don't have to be pinned down to one Muppet. No one does.
Hey man,
Yeah.
I want to be pinned down, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, it was the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's cool.
You can be as many Muppets as you want.
That's right, man.
You can be
Yeah.
any Muppet that you'd like to be.
We contain Mupptitude.
Mupptitudes, exactly. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Vayse.